In 2023, I hit rock bottom. I had failed my business. I had lost a bunch of money. I was in debt to my business partner. Things had just crashed. I had $100 left in my business account. Like, I have the screenshots. I've showed them here before. It was bad. It was really, really bad. That was one of the darkest times of my life. So I went online and I was like, something needs to change. So I found this industry called remote sales. And I was thinking, this is going to be the solution that gets me to where I need to be. Remote sales, right? All you need to do is go and take Zoom calls for an hour and close the person and get commission. And I thought I would be really good. Little did I know I was so wrong. I was terrible at remote sales. I thought that just because I could have conversations with people and just because I knew how to like have conversations, and I had done some selling myself for my old business, right? I was a dating coach and I was selling an offer that was $6,500. But being a business owner and selling is much different than taking on 5 to 6, 7 calls a day and selling. So I was in a position in my life where I needed it out. I needed some level of freedom. I needed some level of financial flexibility. So I got into sales because I thought this would give me everything I needed. And I was wrong. I was making $2,000 in commissions maximum. And I was on an offer that was extremely difficult for me to make money with because the system wasn't set up for me to succeed. Not that I was putting blame on this offer ever. I always took responsibility for this, but that was actually a problem. It was something I was experiencing. So I went through a period of pain, a lot of pain, and then I actually went through an intense period of locking in and training the right way. I changed my mindset, I changed my perspective, and then I made a bunch of money in sales. I started having months where I went from, again, going from like 2K in commissions to 10K in commissions, 15K. My highest earning month was 18K in commissions in February of 24. And I changed my entire life to the point where now I have flexibility and freedom to live the life that I want. In fact, I'll tell you something funny. I originally shot this video in business class, Air France, flying to Atlanta from Budapest to go to a business conference, but I'm reshooting the video because I didn't like shooting the video in business class. It was just too intimate and I couldn't express and just talk like this because I didn't want to disturb everyone that was inside business class with me. But I made the video there, and maybe I'll put a clip over this of the video. But I didn't end up posting it because I was like, I'll just do this again here, and I'll talk to you guys about this stuff here. But I'm buying business class tickets. I'm flying my mom out to Budapest business class as well, just paying for her to come here. She's got some health issues, so I want to give her the flexibility to have a nice, comfortable flight. So I'm buying business class for her to come here, right? Getting a beautiful luxury apartment, getting my first car, like a proper car, getting a Mercedes, an AMG, like the things I'm able to do now, investing back into my team. I pay my team anywhere from 8 to 10K per month in payroll for our 3 team members and giving them money and letting them contribute to their lives and give back to their families, right? And all of this is the product of me having locked in remote sales, gotten good, and made a bunch of money. And I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that. So the quick thing is, this video is for you if you are a closer. So if you're not a closer, if you're like trying to get into sales, this is not the best video for you. If you're trying to get into sales and you're like a complete beginner, you don't know anything about sales, maybe you'll learn from this. Sure, you could learn. But in this video, I'm going to give you what I call my success regimen, which are my training splits, how I trained remote sales. So this works really, really well if you are a closer. If you're a closer, you're on an offer, maybe you're an SDR as well as a sales rep, and you're on an offer, you want to make more money, and you're wondering how you can do that. This video is going to explain to you how to do that with the situation that you currently have. I'm going to explain to you 3 shifts that I made to help me go from, again, that 3K mark to 15K plus in commissions. Now, the first shift that I made, and this is most important, and then after these 3 shifts, I'm going to give you my success regimen, which is the technical details on how you can train sales to get better as quickly as possible. Okay, the first thing that I did was I started prioritizing protocols over just showing up. And this is a really, really important thing. I started prioritizing protocols over just showing up. And our training program actually is called Protocols. The guys I train, the people I work with sales pros and get them to 15K per month in commissions. We call our program Protocols because I live by protocols. Protocols is everything for me. It's the way in which you do something, the way in which you execute on a system or execute on a process. Okay, that's protocols. So we started prioritizing the protocols instead of just showing up, or I should say I started doing that. What I found is that a lot of closers, when they get into the game, they get on a closing roll, they're like, okay, I'm on the roll now. What I'm going to do is just show up. I got a message from a guy. Who is this? I think one of our team was DMing him, and Frank sent me over a message from this guy, and the guy was like, my sales manager doesn't want me to do any outside training, which is so funny to me. It's very interesting. Because what the sales manager is essentially saying, and we've seen this message a lot before, the sales manager is saying, we want you to just show up and do your job and use what we have in-house. But what if you want to love the game and outside of the this little sales training you're getting for your offer, which is your job, like the little sales training the company gives you, you want to immerse in the game and understand sales at a higher level. There's no way the company is going to be able to provide that for you. It will not happen. So what I've seen with a lot of closers, the trend nowadays, and this may be you, is a lot of closers are like, I'm on an offer now. Me being on the offer is everything that I need to just show up and get better. And it's like the thing that they're doing is just showing up. I'm just being on calls and I'm on the team meeting. That's it. But there's no outside stimulus and outside input that is going to cause and create change. So a lot of closers, what they do, here's what the timeline usually looks like for most closers. Hear me out, and I'm sure that you can understand this because I know this is probably you, or a lot of you have been in this situation. I'm speaking like this is myself. I'm not saying that I'm not attacking you. I'm telling you this was me, and I had to wake up and realize this wasn't helping me. What they'll do is they'll find out about remote sales. Maybe a year ago you found out about sales. And then they'll invest in their first program to try to get hired. So the program, you see some marketing from a guy, someone online, I don't know, let's say it's like, I'm making up a name, Sales Cartel. Let's pretend that's the name of the program, okay? Let's pretend it was the name. And the marketing is like, we're going to teach you this high income skill where you can make money online, taking Zoom calls, and then you'll quit your job. We have so many people online in this program just making money, and because they found out about sales. So you hear the language. We're going to show you about sales and teach you a high income skill, and then you'll quit your 9 to 5 and have freedom. They're not saying we're going to teach you how to be good at the skill, because being good at the skill and using skill set is what's going to give you opportunity. They say we're going to teach you just the skill. No good, not going to make you the best, not going to make you elite, not going to make you a master of the game. None of that language is used because most people don't think like that. And it's not good. It's not great marketing, because in marketing, what you want to do is throw out a wide net and make it where it appeals to everyone. That's why I got into sales, because I was like, this is going to be easy. Oh my goodness, it sounds like a dream. And then you get an offer and you realize you suck shit. That's what happens. Like, that's literally what happens. And if you're making even 5K a month as a closer, you could be making 15K. So you're not good. I have some closers that tell me like, I'm doing 5, 6K. I'm grateful. Bruh, you could be making 15, 20K plus per month. We have people on our program, the people I train, guys, my boys are like making 15K plus consistently, right? And what's happening is in the industry, so you get into the program, you get your first little offer, maybe you get on some kind of sales rep role, some SDR role, and then what happens is you start to get complacent. You get complacent because you're on the roll, and then your consciousness shifts from, okay, I just need to find a good offer, and when I find a good offer, I'll make money. Right? That's what happens. But there's a weird paradox, because two things. One, the offers that are the best only hire the best people. So how would you get hired? How would you get hired on a really good role if you are not good? It doesn't make sense. And then let's say that you did happen to get hired, you would perform very low. You would perform low quality, like you'd perform worst on your team, potentially, probably, and then you would get let go of. All the guys that I know in the game who are performing at the top of their game are masters of the craft. They respect the craft of sales. They respect the game of sales. They didn't just luck into some good opportunity. They respect the game of sales. They honor the game. They worship the game, and the game gives them freedom. So what happened for me, going back to my shift here, I don't just want to scream at you. I started prioritizing protocols and the way to success, the protocols versus just showing up. Okay, so instead of me prioritizing just like showing up, and just like being on calls and saying when the opportunity presents itself, when I get a good offer, that's when I'll make the money. I started prioritizing the game, and I stayed a student. So for a little bit of time, I took off my student hat and I just went on my offer, and I was like, how can I make money on the offer? But then I realized in order for me to get good, I have to become a student of the game of sales. The game of sales means we go beyond thinking of ourselves as just a closer, and instead we see ourselves as a student of the game of psychology, the game of communication, the game of human behavior, the game of leadership, right? The game of problem solving, objection handling. You become a student of the game. So that was my first shift. And when I started doing this, my mind, my consciousness opened, and I started perceiving sales differently. A lot of the closers that I've worked with, people that I'm training, guys in our free community, you can join that below. It's the most powerful community on sales that's on school, that's on the internet, I think. In terms of the quality of training available, it is free. Should be charging for it, to be honest, but it's free. You can get it below. It's in school. The shift that I made mentally, the shift that popped into my mind, that happened to me, that expanded my consciousness was, I realized that there was so much more to the game of sales other than just showing up, okay? And that led me to the second shift. The second shift was I realized that objection handling was actually hard and I would have to master it. There's no pre-handling objections, okay? It sounds annoying. Sorry. There's no such thing as pre-handling objections. There is. You can pre-frame them. I lied to you. There is such a thing as that, but it doesn't help you if you only see the sales game as I'm trying to pre-handle objections. You realize that objection handling is really hard. I realized objection handling was super hard and that I would have to master it, because what would happen was I was able to have all these good conversations, and I know that this is happening to some of you. You have these good conversations, the person seems interested, there's good vibes, there's good conversation, and then what happens 5 minutes later, or 50 minutes later, 45 minutes later, at the end of the conversation, what do you hear? Okay, this is really good, but it's a lot of money for right now. I need to think about it. I need to run it past my friends. I need to talk to my people around it, and then I'll get back to you. All right, that's what you hear. What does that mean? There's an issue. There's objections coming up, and you don't know how to handle them. And you're wondering, but I had a really good discovery, but I can't handle the objections. So for me, this would happen all the time. I was making good money. I started making good money because I started realizing and locking into sales. I made a little bit more. I was hitting like months of 5K, give or take. I had like, I think 2 5K months, something like that. Maybe around, what is this? Like around September-ish time, I think. September, October-ish. I started to see a little bit more results, but it wasn't anything consistent at all. And then I realized, oh, okay, I actually have to learn how to handle objections properly. Right? And I had to lock in on handling objections. So I realized and I learned something called lines of logic, and this is what I teach my guys. Lines of logic means, I'm not going to go deep into it here because this is not about objection handling today, but I realized that in order to handle objections properly, I would have to find the logical reason for why the prospect is not moving forward here, and I would have to supersede whatever logic they were using with my own logic. Make sense? So if the prospect is like, I can't do this now because I have a vacation coming up. That's their logic. Their logic is, I have a vacation, so I wouldn't be able to use the program or the offer. So I have to use my logic, which is the reason you should do this. Cool, you have a vacation, we could pause you to start, but the commitment to begin and to make changes could be made here, and you can continue and fully get everything after the vacation, but you came here to commit to make changes anyways, so you might as well do it now. That's my logic. My logic has to win. And I understood this, and I started seeing the game this way. And I had invested in training on objections. I had learned objection handling. I had learned a bunch of scripts. I had learned a bunch of lines. I had learned a bunch of word tracks, as they call it in the sales space. The problem was that wasn't enough because it didn't teach me the why. It wasn't like, here's the why you do it this way. Here's the context of why it should sound this way. Here's why you should communicate this way. I didn't understand that. I never got that. I never learned that. It wasn't taught to me because no one teaches it. Except for us, we teach it, but no one really teaches that. So I tapped into the logic and understanding, like, here's where the objection's coming from and here's how I need to respond to this. Not in terms of the words I need to use, but here's the psychology of what I need to respond to. All right, and I begin to train on this specifically. I begin to specifically train on this over and over and understanding logic. Where is the logic coming from? What is the root cause behind this person wanting to avoid making change? Why do they want to avoid making change? And then what I did is I vowed to become the best sales pro that I know. I vowed to become the best sales pro that I knew, and I became the best sales pro that I know. I became the best one. Everyone around me started looking, in the program that I was in, everyone around me started looking at me like, wow, this guy's different. Not to say that I'm so special. I'm not. A big reason I was able to learn all this is because I was a dating coach for so long. A lot of people don't know this about me. I was a dating coach for 5 years. I learned dating myself because I was sucked with women all through university, and like I was terrible with girls, like horrible. And then I started learning dating from mentors. I approached thousands of girls out in the streets and just did all that stuff. And that was my background. So because I learned that, I learned how to get really good at dating and attraction and all these things, and communication, flirting skills, all that. I learned how to get really, really good at it to the level where I could competently teach it, and I built a business teaching it. Those same fundamentals came into sales for me. And sales, to be honest, is way easier than dating as a dude. Like sales is not even comparable how difficult dating as a guy is oftentimes compared to sales. It's different. So it allowed me to learn sales way faster than all my peers. But I wouldn't have done that if I didn't respect the game, right? So the third shift was I vowed to become the best sales pro that I know. And I became the best sales pro that I know. I became better than everyone that was in the program with me. I got so good that the coaches, even in the program that I was in, the objection handling training program, they wouldn't even really give me advice. They were like, okay, cool, just like in the future, make sure to keep in mind this thing, and they would move on to everyone else, right? And the guys in the program who were the other students weren't getting like as much value because it was a big group coaching program, and the coaches didn't really, help people intimately and personally. So they would always ask me, they would say, "Hey Tim, can we get on role plays?" And I would run these group role plays, and I would be helping everyone, right? And I got really, really good. And that's how I started teaching this, because guys started seeing me and I had proof of it. I would show my calls, I started making money, I would show my comms, I would show my closes, I'd have the recordings of me handling live objections, and people were like, "Damn, you're really, really good." And I was like, "Hey, you want me to like help you?" And then there we go. We built the thing we have now. I vowed to become the best sales pro that I know. That's it, and I did. And because I valued the game, right? I respected the game and I respected doing the work. That's what it was. And a lot of you don't. And I don't say this to be disrespectful. I don't say this to be rude. Even if I was, I'm sure you can handle it. But a lot of you don't value the game. A lot of you value just being on your offer and trying to make money with the situation you have now without getting better. You're complacent. That's the truth, right? But if you want to really make it in sales, you can't be complacent. You have to be hungry. All of the people that I trade, my guys that are absolute winners, shout out Michael, Stavros, Olivier, all of our new people I'm talking about, people who are coming in right now. All of them, like Chris, Quam, they value taking action at the highest levels, but not taking action to show up on a call. Michael Biondi, they value not just showing up on a call. It's like they value the game and understanding the game within the game of sales, not just showing up, because showing up isn't enough. It's not enough. You have to become the best, and to become the best, you don't just show up to the game. You understand the game. You embody the game. You breathe the game. You live the game. You become one with the game, and that's how you have success. It's the truth. It's a tough message. It's not what y'all want to hear, probably, because this is not what, I don't know, the guys over at Sales Cartel are going to tell you. Or One Call Salesman, making up all these names of programs that aren't real. But they're not going to tell you that. They're gonna show you fancy stuff and tell you it's easy to make money online with sales, but it's not. It's fucking hard. It's not the hardest thing you could ever do, but it's not easy. My success regimen, I'll give you a quick success regimen of what you can do to actually practice and get good. Here's what mine was. I would call review 6 days a week. So I was constantly watching my own calls back. Constantly. If you're a sales pro right now and you don't watch your own calls back, you're not serious. So 6 days a week, around an hour to two a day, I would watch my calls back, 1 to 2 hours a day. Call reviews. I would look, and I'm not saying on the team meeting, it's not enough on the team meeting. Don't look at it with your sales manager. Odds are your sales manager probably doesn't know how to coach you. That's the truth. Most sales managers are not good coaches. They've just made a lot of money in sales and they're like hardworking dudes, but they don't know how to coach someone and get someone to be better. Most sales managers don't know how to do this because it's hard. I coach 5 days a week and it's hard to get people to be good. It's very difficult, and sales managers don't know how to do this oftentimes. They're very good, though, at giving you advice that worked for them, right? So, right, what I would do is call review 6 days per week, 1 to 2 hours a day. I remember times where, because I was still getting paid from a dating client or two when I was getting into sales, and I started getting good at this and shifting my consciousness to respecting the game. And what would happen was I was flying to Boston once to run a coaching program. And on the flight, I was like reviewing my calls while on the live flight. And this guy next to me actually worked in sales, and he was like, "Dude, are you doing a sales call review? What's going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm reviewing sales calls." And he was like, "Oh, it's super sick." He worked in corporate sales, but he knows what sales call reviews still are. Call reviews 6 days a week. Watch your own calls back. Take notes on them, on what you would do differently. Role play 6 days a week. You may have to change this, because if you're closing a lot and you're live in the game closing, you may role play instead like 4 days a week, 3 days a week. Role play with people, cut for an hour a day. An hour a day, practice things out in a space where you can mess up. That's what role plays are good for, right? Because you can mess up. You don't have to be perfect on a role play. You don't have to get everything right. They're designed for you to not get everything right. There we go. There's nothing wrong with messing up on a role play, but you can't do that on a live call, right? So that's what role plays are for. Role play 6 days a week. Study 5 days a week. Study and train. I don't know where you're studying from now. This is what gets interesting. I call it studying. Studying could mean if you're in a coaching program that you really like and that's getting you good, if they're actually getting you good, then study from them. You should be on the live sessions. Our guys, we train 6 days a week soon. We're adding in a session. So 6 days a week, we're training aggressively. That's their training. Or watching previous call recordings from like people on your team, maybe. Calls from people on your team and taking notes on them. Watching trainings on sales, on the process, on discovery, on objection handling, on pitching, right? And then what I call another one, a weird one, is the last one. is what I call mental alignment or process meditation. So what I'll do is I'll sit with and I will embody the process of sales. I'll embody the sales process in my head and I will become one with it. I'll embody it. I'll feel it. I'll embrace it. I'll meditate on it. And I'll be doing it in my head through the day. I don't always do this now. I do this very rarely now because I've been in the game for a minute and it's all internalized to me, where the value of me embodying and meditating on this is relatively low value compared to other things I could embody, which like growing the business, right, or serving our clients better. For me, that has more value right now. But what I would do is during this time, I would be reciting the script. I'm talking like 6 months of this. I was reciting the script in my head. If I would do a meditation, I would have the script in my head. I would have the objection handling in my head. I would have it running through my mind. I would just through the day be saying it, speaking it religiously, like it was a literally religious text. I would be meditating on it, praying on it, not literally praying. Try to get what I'm saying. I'd be speaking on it, dreaming on it, breathing in on it, embodying it to where it was in my soul, it was in my bones. I could feel it. I could feel the scripting where it became one with me. It literally, where now I can just execute it anytime, anywhere, any place. You tell me, you put me on anything to role play, to train. I got you. Easy. It's easy because it's within my heart, soul, and mind, and my body. Body, heart, soul, mind. It's within me. It's a real thing. Some of y'all may laugh at this, but if you laugh at it, it's probably because you don't really want it enough. That's the truth. If you're made to this point and now you don't resonate with this, it's all good. This is the kind of stuff I train on because we are serious about being the best. And all our salespeople are the best. No joke. We've talked about this in other sessions. I'm not going to go into it now. People I train are the best. They're better than everyone else. Because we take the game seriously, we respect the game. That's it. If you want to come in and train and look at what we do, it's free. I'm not going to sell you anything. Come to the school community. It's we have a crazy portfolio of trainings in there on objection handling, leadership, mindset. We have my whole discovery process. I literally give you my objection handling protocols in the school community for free. It's all laid out there, all for you to see. I'd have everything. Okay, check it out. It's super valuable stuff. There's a lot of value for you there. It will make you money. And then we can have a conversation and look at what would come next if you decide to join the school community. It's free to join again. We don't ask any payments or anything. Just come on in and get the value for free. And if we feel like you're a good fit to join the community, you'll be in. We have like 658 pending requests right now, so not everyone gets in because some people just, I'm not going to put them in. But if we feel like you're in sales, you take the game seriously, then we'll put you in. We also train once a week for free as well. Free session we do on Thursdays. Otherwise, I'll see you there. Goodbye. Make some money. Take the game seriously. Let's win. Let's crush it this year. See you on the next one.